I set my sights high, felt the fire in my chest. Every step I took, thought I'd pass the test. The doors closed softly, some dreams slipped away, but I'm still moving, yeah, I'm here today. Failure's just a signpost, not the end of the road. Every fall I take, just a story to be told. Almost there, yeah, I'm learning how to fly. Even when I stumble, I still reach for the sky. It don't mean I'm broken, it don't mean I'm done. Failure's just a gap, yeah, the race is still run. Try to write the perfect, life had other plans. Lost a few battles, but I'm still taking a stand. Every setback's a teacher, every miss is a clue. I'm finding my rhythm, yeah, I'm seeing it through. Failure's just a signpost, not the end of the road. Every fall I take, just a story to be told. Almost there, yeah, I'm learning how to fly. Even when I stumble, I still reach for the sky. Still reach for the sky. It don't mean I'm broken, it don't mean I'm done. Failure's just a gap, just a gap. Yeah, the race is still run. Lift your head up, hear your heartbeat sing. Every little miss gives you wings. Don't let the night hide your shine. You're just late, not lost, it's your time. Almost there, yeah, I'm learning how to fly. Even when I stumble, I still reach for the sky. It don't mean I'm broken, it don't mean I'm done. Failure's just a gap, failure's just a gap, yeah. The race is still run. Failure's just a gap. The race is still far, yeah, almost there, yeah. Keep stepping forward, you're almost there. Steps off, baby. This ain't just a vibe, it's a sanctuary. You just walked into the Love Palace. Welcome to a Daily Dose of Dee. Wrap yourself in satin, truth. This love ain't rushed, it's velvet smooth. Silk on your spirit, rose in your mouth. Let me show you what healing's really about. Ooh, she don't play with pleasure, nah. Only pours it where it's earned. Let it burn slowly. A daily dose of Dee. Let the love run deep and free. One touch and you'll believe. She's the calm, she's the heat, she's the peace you need. Here in the Love Palace, where even broken ships sail smooth. Anchor down, baby, daily dose of Dee. Your prescription to feel seen. No refills, just show up and receive. Let your ships drift into healing seas. We don't chase waves, we ride them. She don't beg, she just glows.
Somewhere in the shadows, there's a moment you don't post. A moment nobody applauds, and a moment your confidence cracks. Just for you enough for doubt to slip in. And right there, right in the middle of that ache, that's where the truth lives. See, everybody loves to talk about winning. Everybody wants to share the highlight reel, but failure is personal. Failure is intimate. Failure is the mirror that doesn't lie. Before the world crowns you, life tests you. Before success ever shines, failure dims the lights and asks you one question. Are you brave enough to keep going? And if you whisper to yourself, yes, even through tears, then you just stepped into your becoming. Welcome to Daily Dose of Dee. Grand rising, grand afternoon, or grand evening, depending on what time of day you're watching Daily Dose of Dee. I am your host, Goddess Thea Love. How's everyone doing today? It's Wednesday, y'all. They calling it Hump Day, right? It's Hump Day, the middle of the week. I hope everyone has had a good, prosperous, and abundant week so far. So today here at Daily Dose of D, I want you to come right here and sit on this couch because we're going to talk about something. Here today at Daily Dose of D, it's No Whining Wednesday. We're not whining today. No Whining Wednesday. We're going to face what we need to face. With that being said, the word of the day is failure, lack of success, the omission of of expected or required action. The quote of the day: failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently, by Henry Ford. So, like I said, get comfortable. I want you to come sit on this couch. Come right here. Come sit by me. We talking today. We're diving into the topic that most of us spend our lives running away from. Yet it is actually the very ground we walk on toward success. We're talking about failure today. So, to truly understand why we tremble, we have to look at the word itself: failure. The word alone hits the stomach before it even hits the mind. But to understand failure, you have to strip it off the shame society glued unto it. Failure simply means something didn't work out the way you intended it to. That's it. The original Latin word failure meant to slip, to miss, to fall short. It didn't mean you're worthless. It didn't mean stop trying. It didn't mean give up. That harmful interpretation came from fear, human fear, not the truth of the word. Failure is a moment, not an identity. But most people internalize that word. They take a failed test and call themselves stupid. They experience a failed relationship and call themselves unlovable. They try a business ideal that doesn't grow fast enough and call themselves incapable. Failure doesn't define us. We, us, define failure in a different context. Failure takes on different shapes. So, in academics, it's numbers and it's grades. In business, it's risks that didn't return. And as I stated before, in those relationships, it's mismatched experiences, poor communication, or simply two people outgrowing each other. In a personal development, it shows up in patterns you haven't mastered yet. Life was full of those tiny failures long before the big ones even arrived. And at its root and at its core, failure is simply a non performance of an unexpected action. It is a gap between where you are and where you're intended to be. We often see failure as a dead end, but historically, it was always meant to be only a temporary state, a momentary lapse rather than a permanent identity. But the purpose of failure remains the same in every content. It reveals truth. It tells the truth about what was missing, what wasn't ready, what needed more time, and what needed to be released. And if you listen closely, failure will tell you exactly what your next step should be. You just got to listen closely. So, most people think identifying failure is simple. You either won or you didn't. But identifying failure is less about a specific feeling and more about recognizing a mismatch between effort and outcome. But it's even deeper than that. You identify failure by looking at the intention and the outcome. Failure is the gap between what you hope would happen and what actually happened. That gap in between that. Here it is, you know, here's what you wanted to happen, and here's what actually happened, and in between that is failure. But that gap is not an accusation, it's information. You're learning where you're understanding, you're learning a skill, you're timing, and an environment that needs to line up. Sometimes failure is just clean cut. You train for something, you didn't pass the test. You apply for that job, they didn't call back. You start a new project and it doesn't move. But sometimes failure is subtle. It sounds like your spirit is feeling uneasy. It looks like repeating the same mistakes, even though you know better. It's recognizing you've been choosing comfort over growth without realizing. So, in a professional content, it might look like a missed deadline or even a bankrupt business. While in a personal content, it might be a collapsed relationship or a lost habit. You see, there are four types of failure. Each of these are going to teach us a different lesson. So let's go ahead and talk about those. There's failure with simple mistakes, things you could have corrected easily. Okay? That's the simple mistakes. Things you're like, oh man, I made a mistake. I did that. It's something that you can fix, correct easily. Okay? There's failure from lack of experience, stepping into something new without the skill yet. So you want to do something new, you gonna fail because you don't have that experience, right? That's one of the other failures. There's a failure from complexity. Too many moving parts and variables to control. So you might have so many things, it's so complex that you don't know how to control it and it fails. And there's failure from ambition. When you intentionally stretch yourself beyond your capacity to grow. Now, this one right here is one I have to really work on because this is the failure of ambitious. You're so ambitious that you want to do everything. So you're doing this and you're doing that, and you stretch yourself so far out that you are just stuck right there because you can't even grow because you can't do all those things. Okay. There's also theories when it comes to failure. Actually, five of them to be exact, that explain why things fall apart. Some say it happens because human error is just plain natural. Some point to system breakdown, things outside of your control. Others focus on design flaws or a weak foundation. Some people believe failure happens because the environment changes. And there's the most interesting theory right there. Failure is necessary for adaptation. The ideal that without failure, you would never adjust, evolve, or innovate. The signs of failure, they're not always loud. Sometimes it looks like losing motivation for something that used to excite you. hmm You lose, you was excited to do something, but then it's like you lost that motivation. So that's failure. Sometimes it feels like burnout, confusion, or even frustration. And it sounds like your inner voice saying, this isn't working. And even while you're still trying to force it to work. However, shifting our perspective allows us to see failure not as a reflection of our worth, but a data point. When we view it as feedback, that sting doesn't hurt so bad, it fades away. It's in this space that we ask the deeper question that define your growth. So, family, let that sink in. We're going to take a quick break, but when we return, we're going to talk about what actually causes failure and why it shows up in the first place. Okay, you are tuned in to Daily Dose of Dee, and I will be right with you right after these messages.
Failure's a learning lesson. And when I look at failure, I look at failure as a sense, it really doesn't exist in my world, but I look at the term failure as going to do something and not getting an outcome that I wanted. But in return, psychologically, I got to understand I didn't fail. I just learned. I gained experience. This is where wisdom comes from. When you put yourself in situations where you don't know what the outcome is going to be, you're able to face it head on. And in return, you create wisdom. Wisdom and experience. Those are two of the best teachers in the world.
Georgia, Georgia.
Yeah, just pulled up to the Love Palace. Ain't no cap here, just facts and feels. D and Kel's on the mic, we talking ships, all kinds. Pull up and unpack. Just enjoy. Friendships that held me down through the struggle. Companions who dipped when I stepped out the bubble. Family ties that tug, some tight, some frayed. But we lay it all out, let the truth get played. No judgment, just lessons on velvet chairs. We speak from the gut, raw love, stripped bare. Got a steed, got that glow like sage in the wind. Queen Coles hit the mic, truth spilling again.
Ships, we talk it, we walk it. No filters, just real. Love Palace, the spot where your soul can heal. All them ties, all those vibes, we ain't letting them drown. We lift ships up, never tear them down. With
Situationships with benefits and
Welcome back, family. Welcome back. If you did not get a chance to tune in to Daily Dose of Dee yesterday or the ships, we talked about a wonderful topic of money and in relationships and how it affects that. So I'm not going to tell you what it is. You go back and watch Daily Dose of D if you missed that yesterday. And right after that, go ahead and tune into the ships and watch that topic. We talked about money. It was a very good conversation. We are back with ships every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you tune in every Tuesday with myself and the beautiful, wonderful Queen Kill. All right, family. Now we're going to talk about the truth on this subject of failure. We're going to talk about the roots. And now we're going to talk what truly brings failure into our own life. Because often the cause is a lack of alignment between our goals and our actions. Let me say that again. The root cause of failure is usually the lack of alignment between our goals and our action, or perhaps a fear of the very thing we desire. Failure doesn't show up randomly, even when it feels like it does. It has roots, it has reasons, it has patterns. And sometimes failure appears because you didn't have the proper guidance or the right tools. Sometimes it comes from fear, the fear of being seen trying, the fear of making mistakes, the fear of just not being enough. Fear alone has delayed more dreams than failure ever has. So let's look at some reasons why people tend to fail in life. We often see a lack of persistence or a lack of conviction, a rationalization of poor choices, dismissal of past mistakes. People fail for many reasons, and most of them have nothing to do with talent, just to keep it real. Some people fail because they gave up way too soon, but because they refused to ask for help. They were distracted chasing that validation instead of the purpose. Some because they tried to skip the hard part. No, I don't want to do that part. That's too hard, but I'm going to do this. And because they were fighting battles nobody knew about, battles that drained them before they even started. The greatest failure, mhm, the greatest failure in life, it's not losing, it is living below your potential. Let me say that again. The greatest failure in life is not losing. It is living below your potential. It's denying your own gifts. It's silencing the part of you that wants more because you're afraid you won't get it. Failure, the feeling like a failure, has signs too. It looks like self isolation, hopelessness, overthinking, comparing yourself to other people, feeling disconnected from who you used to be. You have a feeling like failure is heavy because it touches both emotions, all up in your emotions, and your identity. Yet, many people will argue that the greatest failure in life is not the acting, the act of failing, but the refusal to get back up. Or worse, the failure to ever try at all because of fear of judgment. Feeling like a failure often manifests as a constant not enough, a narrative that's in your head, a tendency to compare our behind the scenes footage with everyone else's highlight reel. Failure can lead to disappointment, but it can also lead to direction. It can lead to depression, but can also lead to breakthroughs. It all depends on what you choose to do with the lesson. Some people fall apart under failure, and others rise because of it. But one thing is certain, failure will change you. It will humble you, refine your character. It will show you where you are fragile and where you are powerful. Failure absolutely can be a form of success. Every successful person you know has a graveyard of failed attempts behind them. Oprah Winfrey, she was fired. hmm Tyler Perry had plays nobody even came to. Michael Jordan was cut from high school basketball team. hmm And J.K. Rowling faced rejection after rejection. Walt Disney was told he had a lack of imagination. Mhm. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company. Where they do that at? But anyway, the only difference between them and the average person is they kept moving. These stories prove that failure is not the end of the road. It is the road. Let me say that again. These examples that I gave you, and many examples that I didn't give you that you may know of, prove that failure is not the end of the road. It is the road. Yes. It takes immense, it takes immense courage to fail loudly and publicly. But that courage is exactly what transforms a setback into a setup for something greater. The consequences of failure can be heavy. You can have financial loss, social embarrassment, emotional exhaustion. But what failure leads to is entirely up to the individual. It's entirely up to you. Because failure changes a person by stripping away the ego and forcing a confrontation with your true self. It builds a specific kind of failure muscle that makes you more resilient. In many ways, failure is a form of success because it's the only way to eliminate what doesn't work. Let's just be real. It's the process of elimination that eventually leaves only the path to victory. To heal from failure, ooh wee, y'all, baby. To heal from failure, one must practice self compassion. Analyze the why. Think about the why. Take the time. Think about it without self loathing. And eventually find the courage to get up and begin again. Failure doesn't just hurt, it transforms. It cracks open parts of you that success never touches. Because you know what? Success, we all know success feels good, right? But failure forces growth. It makes you rethink your habits, the environment, your mindset, and your values. Failure is confrontational. Y'all, it is so confrontational. Because you know what it demands? You to be honest, to have self awareness, and to have humility. But it also demands this one thing. It demands this most out of anything. You know what that is? Courage. hmm The consequences, excuse me, of failing are real. Nothing to fake about that. They are real. You might lose money, time, connection, confidence, or even opportunity. But the deeper consequence is the one people don't talk about enough. Failure forces you to choose who you are going to become. Let me say that again. Failure, those mistakes, those mishaps, those fall downs that you have, forces you to choose what you're going to become. You either choose resilience or you choose to step back and retreat. You either choose to rebuild or you choose to go high. Failure gives you the chance to rewrite your story. Mhm. And failure changes people. Some don't really like it, so they become bitter. Their hearts harden. They start accepting the disappointment. They stop trying. But others become warriors. They become innovators. They become unstoppable. They learn to trust themselves in a way they never would have if everything had gone perfectly. Healing from failure is definitely a process. You start by acknowledging the pain. Acknowledge, oh, I didn't like that. Oh, that hurt me. Not hiding in it. Let yourself feel the emotion. Let me say that again. Let yourself feel the emotions without judging them. Analyze that experience, not your worth. You figure out what went wrong, what needs to change, and what needs to be released. Let me say that again. Healing, it hurts and it takes time and it has to progressively happen. You figure out what you did wrong, what you need to change, and most importantly, what you need to release. You build slowly, intentionally, and be honest with yourself. Surround yourself with people who speak life into you, not people who magnify your mistakes and point them out. You did this and you did that, and I remember this and all. No, don't surround yourself with people like that. Surround yourself with people that's going to speak life into you. Healing is not about forgetting the failure, it's about extracting the wisdom. Okay? Love Palace family. I'm going to take one more break before I wrap this up. And when we come back, I'm going to touch you and sting you a little bit more. But it's okay because we sitting on this couch together. We holding hands. We talking. Okay? We getting this together. I'll be right with you right after this message.
The reason most people fail is because they give up what they want most for what they want now. The reason most people fail is because they give up what they want most for what they want now. If that was one message, it'd probably be that. Like, people don't fail because they're not talented or skilled or whatever. It's like you give up what you want most for what you want now. I think the other thing is, and this is an Einstein quote, but everybody's a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it too will live its whole life believing it's an idiot.
What my mama told me as a youngster, nothing beats a failure but a try.
Okay, everybody. This is the portion of the show today where I do the product of the day. And the product of the day today is a tincture. Yes, y'all. Another tincture by Holistic Royalty by Kels. The tincture that I am showing you today or advertising today is the soursop tincture. This tincture has, the base of it can be either organic alcohol, vegetable glycerin, and distilled water. It has turmeric, it can have sea moss, moringa, black seed oil, and ashwagandha, all mixed up for
This is my
your
soursop
perfect
tincture from
blend
Holistic
of
Royalty by
tincture.
Kels D. It's packed with that natural goodness your body loves. I take 1 dropper full a day right under the tongue and let it do its thing.
The benefits of this soursop are digestive health benefits, including antioxidant properties, immune system support, and potential anti-cancer effects. All natural products by Holistic Royalty by Kels. So make sure you get your tincture, okay, from Holistic Royalty by Kels at www.shamakaessential.com. Also on IG, Holistic Royalty by Kels, and TikTok. And you can also reach her by email at holisticroyalty@gmail.com. Okay, so tap in to Holistic Royalty by Kels for this tincture of the soursop. See you there. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Make sure you tap into Holistic Royalty by Kels for that tincture. That tincture, all different type of tinctures. Go ahead and check the website out or reach out to her directly as it was in the chat and on the screen. So we are going to wrap this discussion up about failure. Failure, the brave man's teacher. So, as we learned in the beginning, the dictionary calls it a lack, a deficiency, a trip of the tongue, a song of the not quiet yet that have many sons. So, from the old French word, it means to stumble or fall, but we've turned a temporary trip into a permanent wall. We define ourselves by the gap between the reach and the grasp, holding onto the ghost of almost until it just don't last. Bars. Y'all hear these bars? But when we look at the root of the word, it's not a tombstone, it's a seed. The friction required for what we really, really need in our life. We sit in the quiet of the end of the scene and ask ourselves this hard question. What are the 4 types of failure? The preventable, the complex, the intelligent one that it gives us. What are the 5 theories of failure? Stress, the strain, the limits are designed. And what are the signs of failure? That could be the silence of progress, the dust on the dream, the crossing of the line. But realize this, family, even in the strongest still, even the strongest still, let me correct that, has the been to be tested. And no great soul ever grew while the spirit was sitting there just being quiet and resting. We discuss what brings failure to the door. It's rarely a single blow. There were six reasons that we refuse to actually have this growth. A lack of conversation, a habit of making an excuse, the fear of tightening a knot before we shake ourselves loose from it. But the greatest failure of all isn't the loss of the prize. It's the person who stays on the ground and refuses to step up and rise. It's that never started, that too afraid, and that what if that we leave and we just be like, I'm going to put this on the shelf right here. The ultimate tragedy is the betrayal of potential to yourself. You see, failure leads to a stripping, mhm, a shedding of the skin, a betrayal. Beautiful honesty is where we have to take that all in. It changes a person, it carves out the ego to make room for the soul. It's that jagged, broken pieces finally realizing they're whole. It's a form of success. So, just like Roland had those 12 rejections from the magic that was found at Disneyland and Disney World, or ask that skater since the Olympics is on, who fell 1,000 times before they left the ground. To heal is to just breathe. Hmm. That's the first part of healing from failure. Just just breathe. To heal is to see that a bruise is a map, a lesson in navigation for the next time you fall. It takes a lion's heart to fail, to stand in the wreckage and say, I'm still here and I am wiser than I was. Hmm. So, family, it's not the end, it's the refining, it's the alchemy of the try. You have to be willing to hit the earth if you ever want to touch the sky. So just keep going. So, family, as we sit here on this couch and talked about failure today with our mind's eye tea, let me leave you with these words of encouragement. Your story is not over. Failure is not your ending. Failure is the hallway between where you were and where you're destined to be. You see, family, friends, every bruise, every tear, every quiet night you spent questioning yourself is a seed. You know what that seed is doing? It's sitting there and it's just waiting to bloom. So you're not behind, not at all. You're not broken. You are becoming. And you know that becoming, it takes time. And becoming takes courage. And guess what becoming has? It has failure. So what I want you want to do, my friend, my family, you rise. Not because you feel ready, but because you were always built to rise. Yes, you were built to rise. Failure is a road to success. Are you going to be successful? What are you going to do with your failure? I hope you found these words encouraging and uplifting. And if you know somebody that is having problems with failure, go ahead and share this out because it is free to do that, people. It is free to like, share, and subscribe. Share this good information out to somebody, okay? And if you feel inclined, you know, I always have that cash out ticking at the bottom that you can hit if you like to. You know what? It's up to you. But my intention is always to give a message to the people out there. And most importantly, I give the message to myself. If y'all don't know, now you know. So I want to thank everybody for coming to the Love Palace. Peace and love to everybody. Make your failures turn into the success. Remember, you are becoming. Failure is becoming. So continue to become. Don't be stagnant and continue to grow and continue to rise. Peace and love. And I'll see everyone real soon.
I start on left bare feet and wet sand. Ocean knows my name before I ever speak back. Salt in the skin, wind in my hair. Standing where to meet sky, I'm aware. I look up once, heaven responds. White light moves through, truth carries on. I don't walk alone, never did. Body and clothes keeps me for what I skill. He don't say much, just stands his ground. Every near miss, he was around. I don't replay the touch of the night. I carry it all. I carry it fine.
The reason why when people start becoming a creator themselves, they often back out of it or never even start in the first place is because they have to confront the realization that they're starting terrible. I started terrible. When I put my sock over my microphone that I just bought from Apple and started trying to record a podcast for episode 1 and then tried to edit it myself in GarageBand with all these pops in it because I didn't realize you needed a proper pop shield, it was objectively terrible. But I published anyway. And every creator, every musician, every artist will tell you that their first piece of work is objectively terrible. Like it was embarrassing to them. So much of it's a game of psychology, which is how do I overcome the realization that I'm going to put something into the world that is not great. You can't avoid that because you need the feedback in order to improve. So you have to just contend and be at peace with the fact that you might be ridiculed, that there might be some of your friends or family members that roll their eye and are judgmental about what you're trying to become. But if you can accept that as the price of entry to the life that you want to live, then you'll do it anyway. And the great creators that I know, they did it anyway. The great entrepreneurs that I know, they did it anyway. But all of them had to go through this no man's land in order to get to the other side.
She don't just love, she heals in key. Let go, let flow. Daily dose of Dee. In the land is free. In the love palace, ships dock even key. Yeah, we guide the tide. God is deep. Whispering back when your heart needs reminding. D is divine, D is daily, D is love. A daily dose.